Hi, I'm Humphries. I'm the HR Director at Aldermore Bank. Been with the company 5 years, coming up this summer. Before that, I ran my own business. I ran my own consultancy business between 8 or 9 years. And before that, I spent a number of years in various corporate roles within HR, mainly within financial services. Thank you. The flotation was amazing. It was an extraordinary achievement, and the FTSE 250 has been wonderful. We're absolutely delighted. We're enormously proud of what we've done. The float for us was never a destination. It was always on the cards. It was something we always knew could happen, but it was never a destination. So it's more of a pit stop along the way in terms of the development of Aldermore. I don't think there's anything we altered as part of the float at all. I think we were always very serious about being a well-run, well-managed business with strong governance, and be able to demonstrate that we were always serious about being a bigger player. I think bringing in people into the organisation who have experience of PLC and understand what's required in a regulated business, because that's critical clearly as a bank, was important to us quite early on, and a number of those people have been with us from day one. That said, I think in the last 12 months we've been particularly focused on people that have that experience and are familiar with that environment, but trying to also keep it an entrepreneurial culture as well. So it's constantly keeping that balance right, I think. We've needed to keep a really close eye on ensuring that we're attracting the right kind of people year on year on year, but there have actually been different people as well. If you think about the fact that in startup you're gathering a nucleus of people around you who can essentially just get business out of the ground, so that's often around distribution, that's often around product. And then as you move into another year, then you need to bring in people who have got more experience in some of the central functions. So you have no choice but to then invest in your risk environment. Clearly we're a bank, that's really important, on the IT side, indeed on the HR side, on the finance side. So what was going to attract people in at year one was not necessarily going to attract people at year two. And I think also what we had to take into account was we were going to outlive people. We were going to outgrow people. And that was quite a new experience for me, where you're used to hiring somebody and then they move through a business. Actually, we were hiring people that were only there for part of that journey. And then having that adult conversation with somebody at a time when they're struggling is hard to say, what you've done is fantastic, but possibly we're not going to be right for you going forward. But who you'd replace them with will be quite different. So you're constantly refining the spec about your requirements. But it's an expression I use a lot in the business. You just need grown-ups in a business that's growing up that fast. You need people that will roll with the punches. But I've encouraged all my line managers and indeed all my colleagues that recruit to always over-recruit. In a growing business, do not settle here. Be prepared to over-recruit. Recruit somebody that's almost better than you. Recruit somebody that you could end up working for one day. Be brave about that. And the people that have done that have absolutely demonstrated to the rest of the business it was the right decision, because they've now got succession. They've now got people coming through. So all those people that joined to do job A are now doing job B, but they've actually got line of sight of job C. And I'm really proud of that, because there's some people that have got the most extraordinary experience at Aldermore. They wouldn't have got anywhere else. I think we've sat down and reviewed how we attract people to the business since the float, on the basis that now we are being approached by people in a way we were never being before. So we're actually got more people, for example, at our website, LinkedIn. We do a lot of our recruitment direct. There's no question in my mind, that's easier to do now. We spend a lot of time focusing on the leadership as an organisation, and certainly my colleagues at Executive, we spend a lot of time talking about the people we've got on the ground leading. I think the recognition is having spent 5 or 6 years now growing this business, you need people that lead for really what they care about. Everybody knows where the banking sector's been. Everybody knows what the pressure has been and what the expectations are, particularly from disruptors like ourselves, that we will lead with integrity in the way that we manage our relationships with our customers, delivering great service, but managing our people so they feel able to do that. So in a growing organisation where it's really fast-paced and relatively small, you need leaders that really bring themselves to work. You need human beings on the ground who understand both from a customer perspective and a cultural perspective, but also can manage people, who can relate to other human beings. And I think for us that's been are a real lesson for us. So people we hire now, we hire with very much with their personality in mind and their willingness to be part of a team as opposed to just their technical capability. I think my advice to any board, or my observation to any board that's trying to manage talent through a business that's growing really, really fast is be really, really clear on what you really care about. Do not compromise anywhere along the line. When I reflect on the Aldermore journey, I think we were growing so fast. I think it was very hard to sometimes stay on top of the volume of that recruitment. And there's no question that I think you hire people with the right intention, but they arrive into an organisation that's moving so quickly. Orientating them is really, really key. So be prepared to invest in that orientation. Do not compromise on that. Do not let anybody tell you it's not worth spending the money. Spend the time with the people when they land, because you've got them for that first 3 to 6 weeks. If they're not happy within that first sort of 6 weeks, it will turn into turnover. And do not always hire for technical skill. I think in banking particularly, you clearly need people that know their onions and understand the sector, but do not recruit purely for technical skills. Recruit people for that personality, for being that grown up in a growing business, that level of resilience. You'll benefit in the long run.